What if I told you you are from the future and you found a way to rewind time to a particular moment so you could wake up and do the things that you wish you could go back in time and do? What if this is that moment? You are here in this moment in time to remember who you are, to remember your starting points. You are here in this moment in time because what you see before you, your experiences, your observations, the irritations and frustrations and triggers, and the beautiful things all intermixing together helps give you the material to think of all of the creative ways to reimagine into a good thing. Reimagine whatever it is into a better thing. We are here in this recycling space. What around you needs to be recycled? Do it by imagining it. So, for example, we can take the material that we've gathered so far, that intermixing of what we know we want to steer away from and can transform into something we want to dive into. So for, let's say, a spooky house, there's a spooky house and you want to transform it into something else. Pretend you're there in your dreams right now. You're in a dream in a spooky house, and you can reimagine this space into an 80s synthwave castle because I'm into that. Or what else can you imagine? What other, like another thing is, spooky Halloween creatures, the really creepy ones that might terrify you or that you might jump if they were around the corner from you. And I mean, that work has been done for you already. Those Halloween creatures are costumes. They are makeup. Although we do live in a world where there are monsters, they just happen to have human faces. So reimagine those people as well. Reimagine that internal space for people. That kind of goes into another tangent. But I do believe that we can imagine better for other people. Maybe we don't see visually the internal space within another person, or perhaps we do. Maybe we can sense it in a different way. But anything that comes to you, any clue, anything that you see that you would want to improve, just do it in your mind. Do it in your mind quickly, easily. It's actually very easy to dream a more beautiful dream, don't you think? I was having difficulty with this last night, but then I thought to myself, what is so difficult? It is so easy to look around and think of all the things that I would want to fix. If you go into your imagination space, as I was going into mine, you can just imagine things and they are true. And you can practice the ease with which you can do that. Just the flow and the beauty that you can just quickly change all the things that you'd want to make it better, more beautiful, more just easier, functional. I could give you a million examples, but I'm sure you can look around you and think, oh, in 10 years, this thing will be like this and it'll work better like this. And that's another way you can get into that imagination space. And practice feeling how easy it is to dream a more beautiful dream. And you may start with your eyes closed, just imagining whatever it is you want to dive into. Another example is one that my logical mind says, oh, that's impossible. But hey, if I was the Empress of the universe, I would love to see the large megafauna and megaflora come back onto the earth and have us be able to live with these large, magnificent, who knows, maybe even mythological creatures that we don't even imagine. And we all live in these lush, beautiful places. And the technology that humans have now interacts perfectly in the ecosystems of nature. We've found a way to be symbiotic and regenerative, and just let your imagination spread. Go into the wild fantasies with your child mind and just play like that and practice like that. Like, what if your pen, the tip of your pen was a magic wand? What would you write about to bring it into being? So where this started, well, I don't know if it's where it started, but I was watching this show called The Sandman, and there is an episode where the Sandman explains it's not necessarily a nemesis, which is what I love about this show. There's none of that false duality. But the Sandman, the king of dreams, is explaining to this humans need their dreams in order to basically live. Yes, we might have, conversations where we're not necessarily telling the truth, but this episode was exploring the truth behind reality, but also how dreams interact with that. That's probably not a super fair way of trying to synthesize that. But anyway, what I'm trying to get to is that last night, we weren't watching that episode, but it just occurred to me that telling the truth about reality also means speaking your dreams into existence. So perhaps we survive in our lives because we are driven by these inner dreams, and they help us cope with whatever it is that creates the reality that we live in, how we perceive it. But just practice speaking your dreams into existence, either in your imagination space visually, and you can talk your way through it if you're alone and you want to do that, or you can write it afterwards. After you've been in that space, write down what that experience is like to have happen, and so that you can revisit it and go back there, because maybe you want a little bit of you want to leave yourself some bird crumbs. Breadcrumbs. There we go. Wow. Okay. So practice speaking your dreams. Carry them with you throughout the day. Carry that spark with you, that kindling for magic to happen. So, in dreaming a more beautiful dream, that also ties into wishing everyone the best. Wishing everyone the best. Wishing them that what their heart truly desires. And you can practice that by imagining someone you love and imagining what their heart truly desires. And you can play with, what would their house and yard look like? What would their connections and friendships look like? What would their job look like? What would all of that feel like to them? What would that feel like to you, to be able to see that in their lives and practice that with more loved ones, and practice it with yourself. Sometimes it's a little bit easier, if you're like me, to imagine for a loved one, and then come back to yourself and say, okay, what is it that I truly desire deep in my heart? Maybe it's not tied to what my current experience is. Maybe it doesn't seem like that's around the corner or close or graspable, but if you imagine it, you might see some clues or some ways to get there. So release yourself from, oh, it's not possible. Just let that go. Be in your imagination space. Play. Dream a more beautiful dream. Wish everyone the best, what their heart truly desires. And yes, that last part again came to me when I was super irritated with someone. How do I even explain how important this person could or could not be if they were a part of my loved one's life? But I just felt like, I hope that both my loved one and this person grow and become more of themselves, and let each other develop, and then realized that in order to, instead of thinking of ways to remove someone from another person's life, if you instead transform that thought into, what if I wished that person has everything that they truly want? Wouldn't that solve what it is I'm feeling inside myself, which is irritating me because I see that this is not a good fit for either of them. So instead of thinking, oh, well, they just shouldn't be together in the future, instead I'm thinking, oh, what if they both have what their hearts truly desire? And that makes the current what I see right now, what I want to change right now, a moot point, because that gets to the goal. I want the best for my loved one, primarily, let's be honest. I'm going to think of them first. And that's the goal. So that wish takes care of all of those aspects. And it's a very positive, enriching, and loving way to go about something that isn't focused on, maybe on like the Band-Aid thing that I see needs to be fixed. There's something underlying that. So whenever you see something that you would wish to change, you want to be better, look at what's underlying that, what you can, that just sidelines the whole thing that you're thinking about. So that's food for thought right there. And I will create a guided meditation, maybe is the best way to just describe what I want to do with these, some of the visuals that occur to me. But if you take a moment just to be, as we say, be as you are, and be breathed, be as you are and be nourished, be as you are and be guided, be as you are and be charged, be as you are and be supported. Imagine when you're in that space that you are, which way you want to go about it. You could start with imagining your entire self as a teeny tiny cell in this larger thing, and this teeny tiny cell that you are beautifully twinkling and sparkling and self-regenerating within this larger being, this larger divine being. And then the other way you can go about it, but you can also just imagine, okay, I'm this cell, but also now I go through that portal or dive through that wormhole or whatever, and you are that larger being, you are that divine being, and you are made up of all of these individual self-regenerating cells, and just sit in what that feels like, that the tingles that might bring you, just practice connecting to that. What if each one of your cells had their own lives, doing their own thing, and was a part of this larger being called you? What meaning does that maybe give them? What does it feel like to be a particular cell spinning in whatever way? And what does it look like? What does it feel like to be constantly charged and moving and interacting? And then moving from that to the larger being. And you can expand beyond that. You can expand beyond the micro and the macro and go sideways and diagonal and look at all of the people around you. How, if you want to stick with the cell analogy, like maybe they are cells in this larger being as well. Maybe they are, I don't want to overuse the word angel, but because in my imagination, angel is not this humanoid with wings. I think I've touched on that before, but an angel is already this fractal donut, this cosmic donut, and we're all these fractal donuts embedded within this larger thing. I guess that's what I'm trying to get to in this visualization. But the way that the pictures might occur to you might help you feel the ways that you can connect to everything else around you. And perhaps we'll just leave it there for today. And when you're speaking your dreams into existence, you can anchor those dreams with keywords, if you will, such as serenity, prosperity, health, wealth, freedom, connection, collaboration, belonging, fulfillment, innovation, joy, ease, beauty, adventure, intrigue, mystery, so it is.